I should make banana bread that has like crumble of cinnamon. Little crumbles, you know what I'm talking about? Cinnamon, butter, and sugar. On top of the banana bread. So good. Good morning, everybody. It's just a beautiful morning that I thought I would get on here and actually return to my YouTube channel. It's been a while, I know. There's been a lot going on between spring semester, first year, this summer, Chester's diagnosis. I ended up doing research, doing a bunch of stuff, so it's just been a really busy, just past couple of months since January. So I guess a busy year, and I just want to get back on here and keep sharing my journey of vet school and do a little recap of just the past year. But mainly today, I want to talk about time management and just how do you have time in vet school, because that seems to be something that everyone is wondering nowadays, and myself wondering how to make things like just make sense while taking care of yourself, feeding yourself, going to the gym, and studying adequately enough for exams. So let's talk about it. First off, I just want to say that when you first get to vet school, you're not going to probably know how to time manage because it's a whole different ball game. Well, if you're like me, you'll be excited that you got to get to vet school to where it's an 8 to 5, and it's not like undergrad where you had clubs and events and everything and all these free hours that you just filled your schedule up completely. So it's actually a more set schedule because you're forced to stay in class from 8 to 5, and then you only have the afternoon to fill your time with, which the majority of the time you should be studying. So with that being said, there's the classes from 8 to 5, and then, like I said, you have the afternoons. Sometimes there's clubs, sometimes there's lunch and learns during the day, or dinner events where you can learn some awesome things based off of the club speakers and everything coming to town. And so there's all these things that can fill your time, and if you have pets, you also have to go home and take care of your pets, and then there's school involved, and don't forget you gotta eat, and then if you're wanting to work out, then you also have to include that in some of your time frame. So how do you get it all done? So I'm gonna share with you how it works for me, and I am in no way a pro at time management. I like to think that I am some days, but it's like one week that I'm just like, okay, I got it, and then the next week it's like, well, I don't know where the time went. So I'm not a pro, but I would like to share some of the things that helped me and that are helping me this semester. Doc came to say hello. What are you doing? Yeah. So first things first, get yourself a planner and make sure it's a planner that works for you. If you're in undergrad, I would recommend getting a planner and trying one. It doesn't have to be super expensive. Go to TJ Maxx, go to Ross, go find yourself a planner and see if that type of planner works for you. The planners that I typically like have a column that's a to-do list, and then a notes list, and then sometimes I like to have like the days where there's just no lines or anything that I have to fill in, because I find myself needing to write more than what is like allowed with the lines, because I mean we're busy people in vet med, and the tasks list for only 5, yeah, no, I need like 10 task lists. So the point of that is go find yourself a planner that actually works for your style of how you write things down, your busyness of what you need, and I'll show you a little bit of mine. So to summarize, my planner has all these blank days, and it's actually just a blank section, and I was able to, I fill it up, like I can show you the previous week. Like that's how busy that my planner gets. But I like it because you can write as much as you can, as big as you want, as small as you want. And then for the note section, I find that is where I, like if I'm studying for bacteriology or something, then I write down my study guide of like to-do list. So like lecture 1.1, and then I'll put it there and then check mark it off of there. And then my to-do list, I find myself that I'm writing my to-do list on Friday, like for the weekend and stuff, or like if there's some things that I want to get done like overall for the week, then I put it in my to-do list. And then this one, I love this one because it has a habit tracker, which is exactly what I also want to talk about this video, because there's so many things that like we want to get done, but it's so hard in vet med because we have just a busy schedule. And so I've been actually using the habit tracker for reading my Bible, journaling, and working out, and it's been really rewarding to just check mark the days that I do it, and then also not rewarding for the days that I don't do it, but it's been really fun. So find yourself a planner, highly recommend it. The next thing that I want to recommend and talk about is Google Calendar. So you're going to get this schedule for vet school that's just going to be like chaos. Nothing's in order, and it's okay. So I upload all my stuff into Google Calendar instead of downloading the document because I just find it's easier that I can look at my schedule, and then any club events or lunch and learns or certain things that I have scheduled, whether it's appointments or anything, I can put into Google Calendar. It'll give me alert, and I can color code it. I have yet to figure out if like Apple Calendar can do this type of thing, but I just really like Google Calendar because you can just, it's an organizational thing, and then you can put as the times and then color code it, and you can have multiple calendars going at one time to figure out what's going, and it blocks it off per the hour. So my Google Calendar looks a little bit like this. And you'll notice I have different classes throughout the day, throughout the week, at different times, and then I also have some lunch and learns, and then things in the afternoon that I have to get to, and it's just really nice. And also, something that I really like about Google Calendar is you can share the calendar with other people. So if you have a spouse that you also need to be planning with, or like you need to communicate what's going on with your schedule, then it's really nice because they can also get the alerts and what's on the Google Calendar instead of like just the school schedule on the fridge, where it doesn't say like, okay, for this lunch you're gonna be gone, and for like this afternoon you have an event with the club, and just all this busy stuff. So it's just a really good communication tool and planning tool. So now we've talked about how you can have the right amount of like organizational things, but how do we like actually stick to it? So for me, it starts early in the morning. Since Chester's diagnosis, I actually have to get up earlier because I also have to feed him and give him his meds. And with that, I have to get up earlier because sometimes he doesn't want to eat. Totally okay. He's in that phase right now. But right now my day starts around 5:30 or 6. Some days that I wait until 6:30, it can work. But it starts pretty early, and I like to start the morning with some Bible time and just spending time with God, because I know that like really sets the day up, especially in vet med. It's just when you're getting beat down and you just need that time to spend with God. Doing it in the morning sets your day up just beautifully. So I wake up at 5:30, and since I am working with Chester right now, I actually listen to worship music and then maybe read Proverbs for the day while he's eating or while I'm giving him his meds, and then just like have a peaceful morning in that. But before Chester's diagnosis, I would get up probably around 6, make a cup of coffee, and go sit on the couch, read the Bible, journal some, which is all in the habit tracker, Bible and journaling. And then I would make breakfast and then head off to classes. Well, the other thing that is time management would be make ahead meals. So let's talk about meal prepping. So I really enjoy my meal prepping moments because I just get to cook and do something that does not involve studying or just using my brain too much. It's just kind of fun. And it's satisfying because then throughout the week you get to utilize that meal that you make. And so this week I actually have make ahead breakfast sandwiches that I used English muffins, made some bulk egg things that I can probably share with you guys, like how I did it, and then I put it in the freezer. And so every morning I just take out the breakfast sandwich, throw it in the air fryer. If you need to be quicker, even though it's the same amount of minutes, throw it in the microwave, grab the coffee, and walk out the door. Now when it comes to dinners and lunches, I also recommend the same thing. One thing that I did last semester that I haven't really gotten into the group of for this semester is make ahead lunches. And so I get those black containers with clear lids, or I mean they're any color, it's just the typical one is the meal prep containers, and make ahead salads. I find that if you have a nutritionist breakfast and then you have like a salad for lunch, it's just refreshing, it doesn't make you feel bad, and you're not utilizing so much energy to break down that food for your afternoon classes, so then you're not as tired. It's like light and filling at the same time, and then you get home and you can eat your dinner. So I'd recommend make ahead sandwiches for the week, or sandwiches, sorry, Doc was laying down. Salads for the week, and just make 5 or even 3 so then they don't go bad. And then if you're adding like protein or anything, like add the protein, but don't put the salad dressing in or anything. This is all probably common sense, just some things that I thought to share, and like, I don't know, when you're first learning how to meal prep, little tidbits are important to know. And so yeah, salads for lunch, and then the same thing goes for dinners. Like if you could figure out how to make a casserole or a crock pot meal, highly recommend a crock pot. Get a crock pot. It is so helpful. You can throw something in if you come home for lunch to take care of your dog. You grab your salad and you throw the meal in the crock pot, or you even start it in the morning and then put it on the low setting, and then it goes for 8 hours. By the time you get home, you're hungry. Now sometimes I found it that I wasn't as hungry when I would get home, or again, club meetings, club events, or maybe a lab goes over, or you need to meet with friends to study, like all this stuff. So then I wasn't getting home till 7, and then you have the crock pot going for like 10 hours at that point. So be aware of what you're putting in the crock pot, but also some nights I would just come home and it was a nice break again to just cook and then study. And I know some people don't like cooking, and that's totally okay. Just try it, because I wasn't really a cooker before I came to vet school, and then it's a nice outlet. Put on some worship music, put on some music, make yourself a little fun mocktail type thing, like just drink some juice. Like that's what I do. I have my little apple juice that I drink, and I put it in a fancy glass, and then I just make my dinner. And it's so like simple and random, but it makes it just a fun event and just something to enjoy. And throughout vet school, you have to find things that you enjoy in order to make it through the hard days. So now let's talk about working out. So now you've meal prepped, you have your planner, you have your Google Calendar, you're on top of it, you're on top of studying, you know when you're studying, you know when you're coming home, you know everything. But when do you work out? When do you sleep? These are all great questions that I am still figuring out. But I will say, if it is summer when you're watching this video, or if you're thinking about December, or just you have a break coming up, go work out, get into a routine before you start school. It has helped me tremendously. I started working out in July, and it was July 2nd. I worked out consistently for about 3 weeks before I came back, Chester's diagnosis, and I was able to still go to the gym because he was in the hospital, and then he came home, and that kind of limited that. But the fact that I started working out in July, and then I started seeing progress so quickly afterwards, helped motivate me to want to continue working out. And then Chester came home, and I was able to squat him up and down off of his bed, and then carrying him across the yard and up and down the stairs from the porch and everything. That was extra motivation that working out is so important. And then it also, during the summer, everyone talks about, oh, you know, get your summer body during the spring months and stuff, but no, let's get healthy and fit during the summer, so then we're healthy and fit for the winter, and we feel our best as well in the winter as well as in the summer. Like, it's so important to work out, so I highly recommend just trying it. And for the girls out there, PSA, make sure that you know like where your hormones are at in your cycle, because I will say that has helped tremendously, and I feel like not a lot of people talk about that, but it's been a rising like topic recently, and it helped me so much to understand where I was at, to understand why I was responding differently to workouts. So now that you have your planner, you have your Google Calendar, you know how to meal prep, and we're working out consistently, what about sleep? So something that I made the mistake of last semester is staying up late and waking up early. Because I figured out that if I woke up at 4 a.m. that I could have my quiet time before studying, before going into classes, but then I would get home and then I would have to study until midnight. and it was not working. I was consistently getting 4 hours of sleep up until finals, and I couldn't do anything about it. I had gotten myself in that rut, and I didn't feel like I could get out because I wasn't on top of my school. So that brings me to this semester. I learned last semester that if I slept properly the night before, I would do so well on the test the next day because you're getting proper amounts of sleep, you're refreshing your brain and everything. So I highly recommend establishing a sleep schedule. I know you're busy, I know there's only 8 hours it seems like in the day, but try to figure out what works best for you. It's gonna be trial and error. It might reflect on your grades because it's trial and error, but that's okay. You're learning, and especially if you're first year, or maybe you're a third year and you're just trying to get your life together, it's never too late to try. So go to the gym, go to class, and then try to be in bed at a decent time. Your bedtime could be like 11 o'clock if that works for you. If you sleep an extra hour in the morning, just try to get the adequate amount of sleep that you need in order to function throughout the day, but also to retain it. Because when I actually sleep, I pay more attention in classes, and it's just a better situation for everybody involved. So try to get some sleep, and there's so much science behind how important sleep is, especially in academia. Do some research. It's so important. It's so motivating to know how important it is for your brain and for your health. And especially if you're working out, like you want to see those gains and everything, make sure you're getting sleep. Well, that's all I have today to share with you about time management. Hopefully I'll have a video next about Chester diagnosis, my faith through that, and then also maybe how to save money with grocery shopping, because that's also a hot topic with a vet student on a vet student budget. So I have so many fun things planned. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And go check out my Instagram profile. I pretty much update that daily, and I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to help some more pre-vet students, and I am here for you. I want to be your best friend in vet med. So I'm so excited for this journey, and I hope you guys have a great day.